Of lack of food security in the country has been the order of the day, and people are doing everything possible to ensure that we have enough food for Nigerians. To have an answer to this mighty question with me today is a member of the Association of Farmers in Nigerian capital city, and they are gathering here in Abuja to deliberate and work closely with the government to make this finding solutions that will bring food back on the table. And on today's edition of the program, Midday Discourse on Global TV, we are dedicating this program on food on the table. His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has met with key stakeholders in the country to find a lasting solution. There are protests across the country demanding that government should ensure there's food security on the table. To find answer to this is my guest in the studio, and I'm talking about Obaji Chinedu. He is the National Director of Administrative of the association responsible for food in Nigeria. We're talking about the All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Mr. Chinedu, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You are on the banner today. Everyone talks about the lack of food. So what is your body doing to provide food for Nigerians on our tables?
Well, you know, yes, food, some people say food crisis. You know, some people say food scarcity. You know, I can say that there is no food crisis presently now, because it is the purchasing power that we don't have. Most people don't have. But let me just come back to the issue on ground. The solution, we know the problem that is facing Nigeria today. We know the problem of food issue. So the solution, the way out is bottom-top approach. Since the president has declared food emergency on food, I can categorically tell you that there is disconnection between the bottom and the federal government. The bottom, what I mean by the bottom is the state and the local government and the rural people. Agriculture, food production is rural driven. It is not done in the city, even though that we are also promoting urban farming. But the majority of the food we eat in Nigeria today are cultivated in the rural area. And the biggest challenge Nigerians we are having also is that even the available land is being taken over by urbanization instead of industrialization. Okay, now, the bottom-top approach is this. Federal government should, in conjunction with the state government and the local government, should make available land, prepared land that is prepared for the farmers to go in and farm. Yes, insecurity is one of the causes of all this. Accumulated issues that has to do with implementation, lack of implementation, corruption, and a whole lot of things that has happened over the years are some of the causes of this food crisis we are facing today in Nigeria.
So how do we come out of this? Your association is responsible to go back to farm. Are your members in farm?
Yes. You see, the way out, as I said before, is bottom-top approach. The bottom-top approach is this. Our farmers are willing to farm. Our farmers are ready. Though there is insecurity, yet some of them are still risking their life going to the farm. Last year, I traveled almost all over the nation doing one thing, a summit or the other, with farmers in different states. There is no state I have not gone to except Kwara. I didn't go to Kwara State. But I have traveled around. The farmers are ready to work. They are ready to farm. Yes, there is insecurity. But let me tell you something. I told some people, we are blaming federal government. No, let's not blame anybody. But let us bring out a constructive way out of this situation. a lasting solution. Yes, the Anchor Brewers scheme, people keep referring back to Anchor Brewers scheme, that it failed. I say, yes, it has failed. Let's just leave it behind. Let's forge ahead. The way out now is community cluster farming. A cluster farming whereby farmers are clustered in the same place. When we farm in clusters, the issue of insecurity is shared. The issue of risk is shared. The issue of what they call it, extension services, knowledge, and all these things are shared. So what we need to do in an inclusive approach or way of sorting out the situation is let everybody come together and work on availability of land for farmers to farm. Since they declared this food security issue by the president, there is no state that will tell me that they connected very well, they plugged into it. The way they will tell me they plugged into it is by going in to prepare land, at least 2,000 hectares of land for farmers to come and farm. When this is done, in the next 110 days or 120 days, there will be availability of food. Importation is not the way out. Trade Union Congress told Mr. President to import food. Why should they import food? There is, the labor.
We have the manpower in the country.
Of course, we have the manpower. We have the manpower. The farmers, we have the manpower to produce food. Some time ago, last year, All Farmers Association of Nigeria advocated that, see, stop subsidizing input for us, subsidize output for us.
What do you mean by that, Doctor?
Now, we are looking at, when you subsidize output, those governments giving us output, there are suppliers, there are vendors that will bring this. And when they may bring substandard product, substandard input for farmers. And when we put it down, when we use it, that season is gone. But when we farmers, there is a guarantee that there is a guarantee on our produce that once you produce, we'll buy off or we subsidize it. Then farmers will like to go and to get input that will give them high yield, because the subsidy will be based on your yield per hectare. If in 1 hectare I can get up to 7 tons of rice, and government is subsidizing per ton, that means I'm in for something good for myself if I use an improved inputs in farming. But those vendors that supply government for government to give farmers, that is always the problem. The standards are not good enough.
Have you made your point known to government?
Yeah, of course. But I believe it is in process. It is in process.
Is there any way you want to say that this government got it wrong as far as food is concerned? Because looking at Nigeria, we have a young population that should go back to farm. Where did we get it wrong in Nigeria?
You see, I keep saying it. When they declared, Mr. President declared food emergency in food security, there should have been a match, a complete action to it. But after declaring the food emergency in food, I'm not aware if there is if farmers and the government came together to say, okay, in this thing, what is going to be our role? When you give the farmers their role, carry them along in whatever you're doing. It is not always money. It is maybe morally. We are in the same table with Mr. President, and Mr. President assured us to go to farm, that he will support farmers. And then farmers will take it back home. And everybody will keep looking forward that Mr. President has said, go back to farm. I will support you people. Then coming back again to this, I I said it before, and I continue to say it, that cluster farming is the way out for Nigeria, even though there is insecurity. But when we are doing cluster farming will take care of insecurity, will take care of mechanization, will take care of extension services, it take care of financing. When there is cluster farming, private sector people comes in to finance some part of the agriculture. Just like, look at recently, it was all over the social media, the Niger State governor purchased tractors and all. I mean, I give it to him, kudos to him. But there is something I said after I saw that in our meeting. I said, in 2 years' time, this number of tractors on ground, you may not see them.
The farmers will take them away, or
not the farmers. We lack maintenance culture.
So whose fault is that? Now the government has already done their own part.
They have done
this equipment.
They have done their own part.
Should they establish a department of maintenance? Is that where you?
Not really department of maintenance, but I don't know how he's going to hand over this equipment to farmers. Maybe he's going to give them this equipment on a subsidized rate.
Would you say this decision by the Niger State government is a mistake?
No. I never said so. Okay. It's a good one. Yeah. But what I was trying to say is this: if some substantial amount of that money was invested in land preparation. When I say land preparation, I mean you clear the land, then you provide irrigation system and all that's required to farm in a land. Then, after that, you can see, after that you see off-takers, farmers coming from, people even from Lagos State, Port Harcourt, Abia State, will come into your state to lease such land. They will lease the land and farm. Then an individual, private individual that has the capacity to buy tractors, to go into mechanized farming, will then buy tractors and bring it there for leasing. You know, so I'm not saying it's a mistake. It's a good one. Very, very good initiative. But what I'm saying is that there should be a measure also behind this for these tractors, so that in the next 8 years, when he's going and he look back, in the next 4 years anyway, when he's going and he looks back, he will say, come, I brought in 2,000 tractors. How many do we have? Those tractors, based on how he gave it out, maybe if he gives it on lease to the farmers on a subsidized rate, then some farmers will as well generate another tractor out of those tractors.
My guest in the studio is Mr. Obaji Chinedu. He is the National Director of Administration of All Farmers Association in Nigeria. He is giving a pass mark to the Niger State government. We say kudos to him. Report reaching us 7 days ago, the Niger State government has begun the receiving of delivery of over 300 tractors. We are told that a total of 700 are expected in the state to boost agriculture in Niger State and the country as a whole. And my guest is saying the governor has done something well in the contribution and development of agriculture that will result to employment and food for Nigeria in the country. And that's exactly what we are expecting in the other part of the country. But another good part of it is that the government of Niger State has also made available thousands of acres of land for farmers of various types. Is your organization taking such advantage?
Of course. We are aware of that too. But just as I said before, in agricultural, farming system, land preparation is the most expensive and difficult. You understand? It requires, it is capital intensive. Yeah. You know, 3 days ago, last week I was in a function where I met some bankers. We were all talking about the food crisis stuff. And I told them that, why not think of investing in the food system security in Nigeria? Then when they say how, I say go into land preparation, go into agreement with the state government and the local government or the communities, They will give you land, you prepare the land. When after preparing the land, for instance, if they give you 2,000 hectares of land and you prepare 2,000 hectares of land, and you are leasing that land at 150,000 naira, times you see the money that is coming in, no matter how much you invest, in the next 2-3 years, you have recouped back the money and we will have food. And people will be working in the land, and you will control the inflow of cash that comes in and goes out of that farm.
Mr. Chinedu, how soon will Nigeria be off from this challenge of food insecurity?
As soon as we do things the other way, other than the way we've been doing it before.
Which way are we looking at?
The bottom-top approach.
Bottom-top. Can you explain?
Bottom-top approach is, as I said before, farming is local driven. Let's go back to the trend, back to the farm,
the
local government.
And start climbing up.
And start climbing up.
And not from Abuja.
Not from Abuja. We've talked so much. Policy has not failed us. They will have a lot of policies. They've not failed, but it is the implementation, people implementing it. That is how Anko Burua failed us. Anko Burua was a beautiful thing, but the people along the line are the people that failed. So let's go back, bottom-top approach. If government wants to help farmers, one, let them go into massive land preparation. Two, let them subsidize output. And you'll be in your mind, you'll be thinking, how will government subsidize? Won't all this corruption, all these things come up again? Fine. If they can start a pilot, a proof of concept, start from the land they have prepared. Maybe in the 6 geopolitical zone, they will give 2,000 hectares of land. Then start from there, subsidizing. Before, if this is done, just give it 110 days, 120 days. There will be food everywhere. We don't need to import. We don't need to import food in Nigeria. No. It is an error.
So what should we do at this moment that we do not even have?
What we should do now is, just as I said, bottom-top approach. Let them get into land preparation for the next season coming. And once these lands are prepared, do you know we can farm rice 3 seasons, corn 3 seasons, in the well-prepared land, because there is irrigation system, water system, all these things are there. And you know, farmers will have estate inside that place. Somebody will leave the urban area, move back to the farm, maybe spend a whole 3 months or 4 months. After much, he sells what he has, he comes back to the town to rest and go back again. Within 2 years, you see most of our young men going back to the farm.
Is such a policy on the table of the Nigerian Farmers Association?
Of course, we are working on a whole lot of front, engaging a lot of people presently now on how do we get out of this situation.
Okay, Mr. Chinedu, you are just coming out from a body which is working hand in hand with the Federal Ministry of Health as well as Agriculture and Water Resources. What exactly are you guys deliberating that will enhance the food insecurity in the country?
No, we are, in that meeting is about the food transformation system. So looking at what is the best approach to this. And like I said there, that inclusivity is key. Let all key holders be included in this approach, in this transformation. We cannot have a working food system security in Nigeria without inclusive approach. Everybody within the value chain is important and is key to what we are doing. And that is why you can see in that meeting we have people representing the women cooperative society are there, which we say that most of the rural farmers, 80% of them are women. And that is why they are there, to contribute their own on what we are doing there.
Taking a look at steps needed to put food on the table in Nigeria. On today's edition of the program, Made That Discuss, we are looking at the activities of the Nigerian Farmers Association, working closely with the federal government to ensure that we have food on the table. The Director of Administration is telling us that Nigerians need to go back to the root, which is the local government, and see how we can start from there. But the question I have with you is that the villages are no longer conducive, or the young ones who have the energy are seen in the street roaming about. What is your body doing to make sure that some of those things they lack in the village, your organization will bring it back to the village so that they start going back in the village, because we have a lot of them in major urban cities?
That is why I said if we go into cluster farming gives room for infrastructural development. In a cluster of 2,000 hectares, believe you me that the infrastructure that will be present there is enough to attract the young people to go home and farm, to engage themselves in agriculture. Because the modern system of farming will be deployed. Some of the organizations we are trying to go into partnership with and all that, these are some of the things we are bringing to their notice. That how do we make those things available to make the young ones come back to farming? Some of them look at it that my parents suffered farming, doing this, the way their parents farmed. Yes, it is not attractive to them. But with what we are driving to, what we are pursuing, what we are trying to do with other private individuals and organizations in agricultural development in Nigeria, I mean, all our youths, some of them that are in the street are there because they don't have what they're doing. But with what we are trying to do, it will be attractive for them to come back to the farm, because it is going to be mechanized. We are going to make it attractive for them. Yes, I mean attractive, because it is no longer hoe and knife system. With when you are working on 2,000 hectares of land, I mean, you not talk of hoe and knife. You are talking of tractorization. You use tractor, you use mechanization, you use drones. These are the things that makes them attractive.
How close are we in some of those?
Very close. Very close.
As close as 2 years?
No, less than 2 years. I mean, less than 2 years. I was in Gombe. Is it Gombe or Bauchi? In a cluster, I saw youths. They came with their bikes to work. After working that evening, they were busy dancing and they were so happy. I was like, what? The guy coordinating the farm say, this is the ways they make them to have a memory that will bring them back to the farm every day. You know? So, and I mean, we are close, very close, very, very close.
Okay, Mr. Chinedu, let's look at the few available food items in the market are on the high side. And one is wondering what factor is giving your members to make sure that some of these goods are really, really on the high side?
You know, the economic of production has not changed, really changed. That is economic of producing, what it takes to produce 1 hectare of rice, 1 hectare of beans, this one. It has not really changed much. But transportation is a factor. Cost of transporting from one place to the other. And you know now, presently, we have insecurity again on the value chain, moving agricultural produce from one region of the country to another region. Because along the line, you see mobs hijacking the trailers and all that and all that. You know, we have seen it in a couple of places. So the cost of diesel, the cost of fuel is one of the factors that is affecting high cost of food. But it's not supposed to be as high as it is.
So what is your body doing on price control?
Yeah, you know, price control is not something an association alone will just come and say, this is what the price of something is. You understand? We are not police. We are not government. We are just a pressure group, a non-governmental organization, people coming together to, you know. So the responsibility is with the government working with us. Then we can have a price control.
Then we can be able to protect citizens of Nigeria if we have an effective price control, because the cost of living presently in the country is of very, very, very important. Sad one for that. On the program Midday Discourse, my guest is Mr. Abaji Chinedu. He is the National Director of Administrative of All Farmers Association of Nigeria. He's giving us an answer and saying that food will be back on the table. Let's take a break. Hopefully, when we come back, there will be food on our table just for you. Let's take a break. Don't go away. This is Midday Discourse. It's coming your way live and direct from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. Let's take a break. Glad to have you back on the program Midday Discourse on Global TV right here in Nigeria's capital city. We are looking at the ongoing crisis of food insecurity in Nigeria, and the president and his team is doing everything possible to have it for Nigerians. And with me in the studio today is one man who's, with the help of his association, Nigeria can easily have food back on the table, and he believes that sooner or later we will put away the issue of insecurity in the country. I'm talking about Mr. Abaji Chinedu, who is the National Director of Administration and of All Farmers Association in Nigeria. Mr. Chinedu, Nigerians will be very, very happy when you say food will soon be on the table. You are not, are you specific? What kind of food do we expect on the table? Because as we speak, a bag of rice is as much as more than 60,000 naira. How soon can we start having all this on the table? An affordable price?
You know, a lot of farmers engaged in dry season farming.
Okay.
Then even some people are still even doing dry season farming. You understand? And very soon, they will, most of the dry season food farmed during the dry season will be out. Some of them have started coming out because most of some rice are new rice, you know. Then that's why we keep saying that if there is a policy, whatever government policy they bring, it should be localized, domesticated, from the federal to the state to the local government. Let it go down, whatever policy it is. And all these policies should be in different tongues so that people understand. Some, you know, so that, and let there be good synergy, good collaborations. Both the development agencies, the government at all levels.
What is the missing link?
I think sometimes I'm just talking like what I've been saying is just my own opinion anyway. Maybe the missing link is interest. Sometimes interest in Nigeria is what has taken us to where we are today. If not for interest, why will Anchor Brewer scheme not work? If not for interest, why are we having food crisis? Yes, insecurity is one of the problems. When you talk of insecurity, you put it in bracket, talk about the banditry, the kidnapping, and the headers, the extremist headers issues with farmers. Yes, a lot of people has been displaced, a lot of farmers has been displaced. Some of all these things are the things that have piled up for over years. And this is what we are seeing today. Food crisis. We neglected all this. So let us forget personal interests. Have Nigerians at heart. And then whatever you have for farmers, let farmers be aware of it. You can't just sit down in Abuja in a QZ room with AC, you decide something, go to internet, copy something, and then try to push it down the throat of the farmers dry. It will not work.
Okay,
they will resist it.
I understand that the protest, or there was supposed to be a protest, and we've seen some lines that some section, especially the farmers and some section of Nigerians saying they would not be part of this. Why would you think such, can I call it rebellious, or pulling out from what could be described as for the interests of the country?
Well, the interest of the country, I don't think protesting is for the interest of the country.
Okay. Why do you think so?
If it is for the interest of the country, in all these years that farmers has been having problem, farmers has been having problem in having problem as regards insecurity. When last did the what they call the NLC, they never came. They've not even written. They didn't even come out to say what is happening to farmers. Not even to protest. But call government to a table with farmers association to discuss the issue of insecurity. They've not done that. What is the percentage of Nigerian Labour Congress? What is their percentage?
As compared to your body?
Compared to Farmers Association in Nigeria. When you talk of Farmers Association in Nigeria, you are looking at the cooperatives, the commodity association, the farmers. They are over 80% of Nigerian population. The Labour have never, in fact, in all the kidnapping, banditry, killing of farmers on their farms and everything, they've not written the government, come, let us be in the same table with farmers and see a solution out of this situation. Now, they are talking of salary increment and all that. They want farmers to follow them. Things don't work that way. That is why we said farmers should just stay on their own. Stay on your lane. You know your challenge. The challenges of the farmers today, as we speak today, insecurity is number one. Financing farming activities, number two. So these people has never come to the table.
And you think these 2 points you've just mentioned is not part of the 13-point agenda submitted by the Nigeria Labour Congress to the federal government?
They did not give us a copy. If they had submitted it to the federal government, did they give Nigerian Farmers Association a copy? They did not.
So you've not been carried along?
We've never been carried along. If we've been carried along, we will not be here talking about this. We'll be in the street. I'll be in the street. I will not be here in this studio by this time. At least if we've been carried along, we will know objectively this is what we are going to the street to do. Not, joining protest for what? These problems have been there. But you never said anything. You've never called Farmers Association, come. Let us see how the way out of all the situation.
Will the farmers call for their own protests?
No.
Very soon?
You see, we say, no farmer, no nation.
No farmer, no nation.
No farmer, no nation.
What do you mean by that?
No farmer, no nation. When you talk of food security, then national security is guaranteed. You understand me? So Nigerian farmers and commodity associations will not come to the street. What we all need from government is, come, let us talk about this insecurity. And this issue or how farming activities has been financed in the yesteryears. Let us review it. Let's do things the other way around. You understand? Still the same people that are protesting are the same people that collide with both portfolio farmers and political farmers to make anchor borrower scheme not to work. And they are coming to the streets to protest. We are not with them. We are not with them. What we need presently now, as I speak to you.
How are you passing your message to government if you're not working with the labor?
We always write. We get response. But you know, bureaucracy is a challenge in sorting ourselves out in this situation we are. The government should break all barriers, protocols. You see, if the Mr. President will be in the same table with Nigerian farmers, discuss with them, dialogue with them, assure Nigerian farmers of guarantee when you produce, you are guaranteed. Or assure Nigerian farmers, okay, we will subsidize output. Then you see Nigerian farmers, somebody that has the capacity to produce 10 hectares of rice or maize or so, would go ahead to do even 20 to 30. You understand? Or even if the Mr. President is not coming, let the Minister of Agriculture, against all odds, sit with farmers, commodity associations, everybody, let us cooperative, let us be in the same table, discuss, come out with one voice. Even if it is two agenda we discuss that day, we agree. My brother, in the next 120 days, Nigerians will see food. There will be more food. And we will even be looking for other countries to give the food.
So, but some argue that the labor is protesting because there is no food on the table. And should they have carried you people along in this protest?
You see,
no food on the table, and you are supposed to provide the food for Nigerians. But labor is crying now that there is no food on the table, calling for protest. Should we say if they have carried you people along, there would have been an effective protest?
If they had carried us along before now, maybe let's go back to 8 years ago of the past administration, the anchor borrower, that some farmers were crying, we are not getting anything, we are not doing this, all this. If they would been working together, we will not even get to the point of protesting, because labor have this. They have the strength to make government come to the table. But the farmers, we don't have that. So if the labor had carried us along.
So you mean you cannot organize a procession to drop down your tools? I'm talking about the farmers.
The farmers
can't do that.
Do you know that, as I told you, majority of Nigerian farmers are in the rural area? They are in the rural area.
Difficult.
They are in the rural area. And look at, okay, if you ask them to come maybe from Kwara, from Enugu, from Port Harcourt, from Kano, Katsina, all this thing, the insecurity. And some of them, how they eat every day is what they work every day. This is how they eat.
So possibility of asking the farmers to drop down their tools may not be possible.
We are not ruling it out. But what I'm just telling you that Nigerian farmers you see today, they are civil. Their concern is how do we produce food for their immediate family and enough for them to sell.
I do not think it's still their problem. I think their problem is how do they sell this food? Because if you go to some of our market, we have this food getting bad every day because
access to market.
Yes, yes. But what is your association doing to help them achieve success at the end of the harvest?
You see, there's been access to market issue. Just as I told you, there's an access to market as a result of insecurity. Insecurity is one of the challenges. You understand? But we, like my people will say, we will not because somebody will die, we refuse to fight. We will definitely fight. Whoever dies, that dies.
In the farm.
So people are still traveling from the south to the north to move produce from this other side. Some people from the south are in the north financing production. You understand? There is still, if this issue, we say insecurity. Security is all about the 3 tiers of government getting involved and the community getting involved.
Which among the 3 is a little bit closer to you?
Both the state and the local government and the community, if they work together, who are the community? Community are the farmers. The local government is a topic of another day. I know they are dead, technically. But if the state works with the community, who are the farmers, together, then we will go a long way. Like if we issue of state security and all that, I mean, state policing and all that, is okay if they will not use for political reasons.
Finally, Mr. Abaji Chinedu, National Director of Administration of All Farmers Association. If you see a young man in the Nigerian capital city to the Abuja, what message do you have for him? Looking at the vast land, availability of land everywhere, and you see them here in Abuja city, what message do you have for them?
You know, when you tell them go to the farm, go to this, they would complain of there is no money, there is insecurity, and all that. Then the next thing I do tell them, okay, if all these things, insecurity, you cannot, money issue, financing farm and all that, okay, why not do a little urban farming around where you stay? If we grow what we eat, the pressure will be low. If we grow what we eat, there is yam. You can farm yam in the sack, farm potato in the sack, farm a whole lot of things in the sack. Even with soilless and all that. You can do all those things. Farm behind your garden, even in this your studio as you're coming up, as all this staircase as we climbed up. Yeah, you can do 1 or 2 agriculture, especially vegetables and herbs there, which you use to generate money. There is no rocket science.
So you mean we Nigerians, we can still make it from the farm?
Of course we can. And this is the time, the right time to go back to the farm.
Of course, this is the right time to go back to the farm. That's how far we can go on today's edition of the program, Midday Discourse on Global TV. On today's edition of the program, we have the privilege of hosting the National Director of Administration of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Abaji Chinedu, who has been our guest, providing answers to the ongoing food insecurity in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Chinedu, I want to say a very big thank you to you.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you to your members.
Thank you.
And hopefully there will be food on the table very, very soon.
Very soon. Very soon.
Very, very soon, very soon. Choice words from my guest, Mr. Abaji Chinedu. That's the size of today's edition of the program, Midday Discourse. It came your way all from the Global TV right here in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. My name is Agbo Clinton Ayuk, asking you to join us tomorrow, but if you can, please try and do something within your campaign. You can plant whatever, and we are told that it will grow and you will spend less in doing that. Have a wonderful day in Nigeria's capital city and wherever you're getting us loud and clear. Until we come your way again, the call for duty is that everyone should go back to the farm. Thank you very much for your time. I am Clinton Agbo saying good day.